Welcome to Hot Drama TV.
When Ice Meets Fire. The story of Liu Yuning and Song Zuer that no one can look away from. There are stories that begin with love. And then there are stories that begin with hostility, silence, and the weight of blood-stained history. This is the second kind. In a world torn apart by war and destiny, Liu Yuning and Song Zuer do not meet as lovers. They meet as opposites, as enemies shaped by loss, as two souls standing on different sides of an invisible battlefield, both convinced the other represents everything that must be destroyed. And yet, this is exactly why their story becomes unforgettable. A world where love is a luxury. The era they inhabit is not gentle. It is a time where survival comes before emotion, where trust is dangerous, and where affection can become a fatal weakness. Liu Yuning's character enters this world carrying the cold discipline of war. He is not loud with anger. He is not impulsive. His pain has been sharpened into control, his emotions buried beneath strategy and responsibility. Every decision he makes feels calculated because in this world hesitation costs lives. Song Zuer's character, on the other hand, carries quiet fire. She is intelligent, observant, and emotionally guarded, not because she is weak, but because she has learned how easily people are taken away. Her strength lies not in force but in resilience. When these two characters collide, the air freezes. No soft glances. No instant attraction. Only suspicion. Only resistance. Only the unspoken understanding that one of them may not survive this encounter. From killing intent to shared fate. One of the most powerful elements of this story is that their bond is born not from romance, but from an attempted ending. There is a moment when one character is meant to eliminate the other. It is clean, logical, necessary, and it fails. Not because of mercy, not because of love, but because fate intervenes, forcing them into a situation where survival becomes mutual. Suddenly, the enemy is no longer an abstract threat, but a breathing, bleeding human being standing beside you. And this is where everything changes. Not quickly, not comfortably, but irreversibly. The slow burn that feels real. What makes Liu Yuning and Song Zuer's dynamic so compelling is the absence of cliché. There is no dramatic confession. No rushed emotional collapse. Instead, their relationship evolves through shared danger, silent observation, moments where one notices the other's strength when no one else is watching. They begin to understand before they begin to care. And they begin to care long before they admit it. This is love formed not by romance, but by recognition. Recognition of courage. Recognition of pain. Recognition of the fact that the person you were taught to hate understands your world better than anyone else ever could. Ice and fire, why they work together. Liu Yuning embodies ice. His character is restraint, endurance, and emotional suppression. He does not speak his feelings, he carries them like armor. The colder the world becomes, the harder he hardens himself. Song Zuer is fire. Not reckless flames but controlled warmth. She questions. She challenges. She refuses to let emotional numbness become the final answer. When they are together, something extraordinary happens. Ice does not extinguish fire. Fire does not melt ice instantly. Instead, they coexist, creating steam, tension, heat, life. And the audience feels it in every shared glance, every pause, every moment where words are unnecessary. Love as resistance against fate. This story does not romanticize destiny. Destiny here is cruel. It separates families. It forces choices. It demands sacrifice. But what makes this narrative powerful is how love becomes an act of rebellion. To care in a world that tells you not to. To protect someone you were supposed to destroy. To choose connection in an era that rewards cruelty. Their bond is not soft, it is defiant. And that is why it feels meaningful. Why this story stays with you. This is not just a tale about two characters. It is about how enemies become mirrors, how trauma shapes love, how emotional intimacy is built through survival, not fantasy. Liu Yuning and Song Zuer do not give us a love story that feels safe. They give us one that feels earned. And that is what makes audiences lean closer. That is what keeps viewers watching until the very last second. That is what makes this story linger, long after the screen fades to black. Some stories make you smile. Some stories make you cry. But the rare ones, the unforgettable ones, make you feel quietly haunted. The story of Liu Yuning and Song Zuer is not about falling in love. It is about choosing to feel in a world that punishes feeling. And once you step into their world, you don't simply watch it, you carry it with you. When silence becomes louder than words, as the story moves forward, something subtle begins to happen. Liu Yuning's character starts to hesitate. Not in battle, not in command, but in moments involving her. Pause before giving an order. A glance held half a second longer than necessary. A decision altered just slightly, yet enough to change the outcome. These are not grand gestures. They are dangerous ones. Because in a world governed by suspicion, hesitation is betrayal. Song Zuer notices. She notices because she understands silence better than anyone. She understands that the most honest emotions are not spoken. They are restrained. And in that restraint, she sees something terrifying and precious at the same time. She sees that she matters. The cost of caring. This is where the story refuses to be kind. Every step closer they take toward each other comes with a price. The more they trust, the more they risk losing everything. For Liu Yuning, caring means exposing weakness in a position that demands absolute authority. For Song Zuer, caring means opening wounds she has spent years protecting. Their love does not bloom in sunlight. It grows in night watches, shared injuries, conversations that end before they should. And every time they almost cross the line, reality pulls them back. Because love in this world is not private. It is political. It is dangerous. It is punishable. When fate tests them one last time, there comes a moment when destiny tightens its grip. A choice must be made. Not between right and wrong, but between love and survival. Liu Yuning's character is forced to confront the very system that shaped him. Song Zuer's character must decide whether trust is worth the risk of annihilation. And this is where the story reaches its emotional peak. Not with shouting, not with tears, but with quiet resolve. A single decision that says, even if the world collapses, I will not pretend you mean nothing. Why their story feels so human. What makes this narrative extraordinary is not the scale of war or the weight of destiny. It is how human it feels. They are not heroes untouched by fear. They are not lovers protected by plot armor. They are two people trying to remain themselves in a world designed to erase individuality. Liu Yuning portrays masculinity without arrogance, strength without cruelty. Song Zuer embodies softness without fragility, intelligence without submission. Together they redefine what power looks like. The aftertaste of the story. When the story ends or pauses, it does not give easy closure. Instead, it leaves a feeling, a quiet ache, a sense that something precious was protected, even if it could not be fully claimed. And that is why viewers return. Not for spectacle, but for meaning. Final words for the audience. This is not just a drama you watch. It is a story you listen to. In the silence between scenes, in the unspoken emotions, in the moments where two people stand close but cannot touch. The story of Liu Yuning and Song Zuer reminds us that sometimes, the deepest love stories are not about being together, but about choosing each other even when the world says you shouldn't.